Hey guys, welcome back to That Generator Guy. Today I just wanted to give you some helpful tips if you happen to own an inverter generator. This particular one is a Predator 5000, and the customer was complaining that sometimes it would start really good right away, first pull, second pull, and other times they're pulling on it, and it just won't start. So I found out that this engine does run very good, but it has a dead battery. And while there's no electronics that inhibit it starting with the dead battery, I did notice that it has an electronic choke, which you can operate right here if the battery is dead. Now it's choked, and then take it off. So if you have an inverter generator and you look on the front here and there's just a start button, there's no choke button in sight, like say even this Furman right here, it has an electronic choke, but it's a push button. So if you have a dead battery, that won't work. You have to open up the panel on the other side and manually move the choke. This style generator, your choke is right there. It's just a tab, and on some it's just a dial. So you can see that's the choke symbol. It might just say start, and another spot says run. But if you don't see these on something you manually move, like either a lever or a knob, if it's a button or it's just non-existent on your gas power generator, then you have an electric choke, and if you have a dead battery, you're gonna need to manually move it to get it to start. Another thing I wanted to go over with the inverters while we're down here looking at the carburetor is sometimes I'll get customers that their generator was running great, they turned it off, and now it won't turn on. And oftentimes that's because they shut it down with the eco mode. I don't know if you can see that, there you go. That's your economy mode, so it kind of idles the engine down. Sometimes the throttle plate doesn't open up when you shut it down. And so the throttle is almost closed, so it's not gonna wanna start. So you can see the throttle plate, and this is the idle stop screw. And I got a carburetor that's very similar to show you. There we go. So right here we have, I think this one's off a Champion, but the principle is the same. You got the step motor for throttle, for choke, and then the other step motor right here for the throttle control. And again, you can manually actuate it, but this is buried inside the engine, or the housing of the generator. So that idle stop screw, if this little piece of plastic here is resting up against that screw, the throttle plate's closed. So if your generator is not starting and it's an inverter, which means it's going to have an electronic throttle always, maybe not a choke, but always an electronic throttle for the inverters, because they vary their engine speed according to load. So if you see that it's pushed up against that screw there, then just grab a screwdriver or something and push it all the way over so it's not touching that idle stop screw, and then it will be a wide open throttle. The other style, I can't find an actual carburetor, but I do have a throttle plate, is where the screw is actually on that swinging piece of metal that connects to this throttle plate right here. So if yours has this style, you do not want this screw pressing up against something like this is the maximum point it will go. That means it's closed throttle. So you want that screw as far away from whatever piece of metal that it hits to be at wide open throttle, because engines start at wide open throttle. They don't like to start at half or almost closed throttle. And the last style you might see on your carburetor is basically the exact same as the last one, except instead of a plastic screw, it is a steel screw like that. All right, hope it helped you guys. Take care.